What's up, guys? I'm Aisha Thomas, your leadership and team development expert, here with some more tools and strategies to help you become an effective leader. Why? Because individuals don't typically quit the organization, they typically quit the leader, and that's why you need leadership development. So today we're going to kind of recap. We've gotten to the end of the series where we've been talking about why leadership development is so important. We have to recognize that as you progress as a leader, you have to be able to address the gaps. You really have to understand the different tiers and the levels and the different things that you're going to encounter as you're progressing up, and also as you're encountering different problems. Do you need to work more on your conflict resolution skills? Do you need to work more on your communication skills? Do you need to have that development of empathy so you can understand your diverse team members? There's so many different areas that we have to develop as leaders because none of us are perfect. We don't have every single tool in our tool belt. However, through leadership development, you can get the skills and the strategies and really develop in that area. So now it goes from a non-talent to a talent. So to recap, let's really talk about the different areas that we talked about over the week. One of the first areas that we talked about was self-leadership. And why that's so important is because by having self-leadership, if you know how to lead yourself, you can lead a team. We have to have a level of knowledge and understanding of emotional intelligence as leaders, so we know how to manage our emotions, how to identify those gaps in those areas that we need to work on, like communication, like empathy, like working with a diverse team, like addressing our unconscious bias, or whatever other area that we need to develop on. We need to understand we need to be able to lead ourselves, have accountability, and say, you know what, I know in this area I am really not strong at, so let me take time to work on that. I know that when it comes to my emotions and how I show up is going to be so important as a leader, so let me work on that. So really work on becoming a self-leader, and that might require not just professional development, but also personal development, because there might be some things that you need to work on internally in order for you to show up effectively externally. So remember, you need to really work on self-leadership. That is the foundation of who you are as a leader. So make sure that is on the forefront of what you're doing. The next thing is, now that you have self-leadership, we all know with leadership, it comes with managing or supporting a team. So the next thing is understanding how to build a team. What's going to be the requirements in order for you to build an effective team? Now that you understand yourself, now you need to understand what are the roles and responsibilities of that role that you're hiring for. What are the needs going to be of that team? What kind of people and different behavior styles are you going to need in order for that to be effective? Finding out their talents and non-talents. Building a team is so important because you want to have that well-oiled machine. You want to have a team that's going to be able to push that mission and vision. So you have to know what they bring to the table. You have to know specifics, their talents, and also, just like we need to develop in areas, they will need to develop in some areas as well, because they might have the skills for the role, but are they going to be effective communicators that they can connect with the other team members so you guys can collab and come up with some great tools, strategies, ways to connect with clients and become really innovative so you can get to the vision, that goal that you have, those objectives that you have. So building a team is super important, and leadership development allows you to understand how to look deeper than just looking at the surface, but looking at the other areas that's going to be required in order for you to build a team. And then after that, also to manage that team. So in that next area, we talked about retaining a team. So now that you have this great team, you've identified all the talents you need, you have a well-oiled machine. Now, how do you keep them there? Like I mentioned, and if you watch the bonus material after this, I talked about the importance of really understanding the needs of your team so you can retain them outside of just the skills and their abilities, outside of just the paycheck that they get. We have team members that are looking for more purpose. They're looking to be developed. They're looking to be coached versus the annual review that they get. So you need to know the needs of the team and how to really identify, how do you keep this great team there? How do you build that loyalty, that trust that they have, where they want to stay there and continue to support you? And if they do transition, they're just transitioning because it's time, it's a better opportunity, or also they're the next generation of leaders. But we want to make sure the retention piece is effective, because we don't want team members, again, quitting us because we didn't take time to develop them and support them effectively or identify their needs for them to stay longer. And the final area of why you need leadership development is if you lost team members. Now you've identified that you have this retention issue. You know you have a retention issue and you're just like, man, I've lost team members. They have gone and I don't know what the issue is. But now you have to identify why that's happening, why you have such a high retention issue, why you have some breakdowns in certain divisions or sections or in different tiers of the organization, and really start to remedy that. And there's going to be an aspect of development that you need of how to address that. It might require conflict resolution. It might be getting to the nitty gritty of the issue and coming up with ways to address it so that culture and that climate can change over time. And that might require you going from square one, because sometimes it might be you. That's one of the hardest things that a lot of leaders have to grasp, that maybe it might be us. I've been guilty of not being an effective leader, and I recognize that I had to go back to the self-leadership area and really start working on communication skills, emotional intelligence, having an understanding of humanizing the workforce and connecting with my team members a little bit different. So you might have to start with ground zero and start from the beginning and go through each one of these steps again and really ensure that you stay at the retention piece versus going to the part where you're losing team members again. And that's why those areas are so important. And that's why leadership development is so important, because the scope of responsibility that you have, the level of skill and different challenges or different areas that you have to juggle as a leader, they change and they vary day by day. So it's so important that you're consistently developing, you're consistently working on the change that's happening with the workforce, the needs of the workforce, which might require you to seek additional education. And that's why getting consulting, coaching, training is so important, because only 5% of organizations have leadership development within it's embedded in their strategic plan. They have funding. It's a part of what they do. I'm in the military. It's something that's a part of every rank structure. Just about as you're progressing, you go through a leadership development course, a training course that's 5 weeks sometimes at a time, and you're learning different tools to prepare you and propel you to that other area. And then when you're in that role, you're getting the mentorship and the guidance within that organization with people that are going to help you navigate that role. But a lot of organizations don't have that. So as a leader, if you're taking your part in getting developed, now you can work on all these different areas so you don't lose team members or you don't lose yourself and you don't find yourself so stressed out because you haven't taken time to work on certain areas. So really make sure that you take this area really seriously. Connect with me if you want some leadership development. Connect with the mentor. Get the tools and the strategies you need so individuals don't quit you. Make sure you remember that individuals don't typically quit the organization, they typically quit the leader. And that's why you need leadership development. So again, stay tuned for the next series where we're going to really talk about humanizing the workplace, because as we know, there is a shift and a change happening in the world, in our companies, in our organizations, and we need to be prepared as leaders to be effective so we can support our team members who are pushing our mission and our visions. Thank you for tuning in, and see you guys next week.